Volodymyr Zelensky got a hero's welcome in Downing Street yesterday as Sir Keir Starmer promised Britain's full backing after the Ukrainian leader's Donald Trump dust-up. In highly emotional scenes, crowds lined the street and cheered him, while the PM wrapped him in a bear hug as the pair met for crunch talks. Inside No 10, Mr. Zelensky looked misty-eyed and overcome with emotion as Sir Keir said he was very welcome here in Britain. Referring to the noisy cheering crowds outside, the PM said, "That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you." The stirring scenes were in stark contrast to Friday in Washington, D.C., when President Trump shouted at Mr. Zelensky and chucked him out of the White House. The astonishing and unprecedented slanging match shocked and appalled political leaders across the world and plunged Ukraine-Russia peace talks and the very future of NATO in turmoil. Sir Keir is today due to host more than a dozen leaders from Europe and NATO for a crunch summit in a bid to salvage a peace deal. Britain is launching a diplomatic bid to repair President Trump's shattered relationship with Mr. Zelensky and get them back around the negotiating table together. But yesterday evening, Sir Keir was defiant in his very public backing for the Ukrainians, who are now in their fourth year of war against Russia's invading tanks. He strode out of No 10 to meet Ms. Zelensky, patting him on the back. The beaming Ukrainian leader, wearing the same black fatigues that were brutally mocked in the White House, gave a thumbs up to the cameras. Speaking inside, the PM told Mrs. Zelensky, "Let me just say that you're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. And as you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom, and we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take." I hope you heard some of that cheering on the street. That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you, how much they support Ukraine, and our absolute determination to stand with you. Unwavering determination. And to achieve what we both want to achieve, which is a lasting peace. A lasting peace for Ukraine based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. So important for Ukraine, so important for Europe, and so important for the United Kingdom. An emotional Mr. Zelensky said, "I want to thank you and the people of the United Kingdom for such big support from the very beginning of this war." The very public display of support was ordered personally by Sir Keir, who wanted Mrs. Zelensky to get the full red carpet treatment. The PM believes Britain and Europe are at a historic crossroads as America's military backing has been plunged into doubt. Leaders including France's Emmanuel Macron and Italian PM Giorgia Meloni will attend today's summit at Lancaster House, central London. Sir Keir is expected to tell countries to follow Britain's example, increase defense spending, and make concrete pledges to a peace mission in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Chancellor Rachel Reeves will loan Ukraine another £2.26 billion to help war efforts, paid for from the interest on frozen Russian assets. Speaking ahead of the crucial meeting, Sir Keir said, 3 years on from Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, we are at a turning point. Today, I will reaffirm my unwavering support for Ukraine and double down on my commitment to provide capacity, training, and aid to Ukraine, putting it in the strongest possible position. In partnership with our allies, we must intensify our preparations for the European element of security guarantees alongside continued discussions with the United States. He added, "Now is the time for us to unite in order to guarantee the best outcome for Ukraine, protect European security, and secure our collective future." The PN feels he has Ms. Trump's trust and will use the relationship they have forged to try to persuade him to re-engage in the Ukraine peace talks, sources said. Britain and European allies desperately want President Zelensky and Trump to sign the minerals deal which collapsed on Friday. Today's summit is now seen as being about much more than just peace in Ukraine, but about the very future of Europe's military alliance with the U.S. The Trump administration believes most of Europe have been laggards who have woefully failed to pay their fair share towards NATO. Sir Keir will today tell Europe to pay more on defense and security. The summit will discuss ongoing military support for Ukraine, economic pressure on Russia, and how to provide a security guarantee to broker a lasting peace. Shattered, re lifestyle unstype. Yesterday, Mr. Zelensky began trying to patch up his shattered relationship with the U.S. by insisting a deal could still be done. In a series of messages on X/Twitter, he said he was grateful to the U.S. and President Trump for their support, but appealed to the nation to stand more firmly by Ukraine's side. But he again refused to sign up to an immediate ceasefire without U.S. security guarantees because a ceasefire won't work with Putin, who will simply break it. This puts him at loggerheads with President Trump, who wants an immediate end to the fighting before he will talk about any possible American security guarantees. Asked if Ukraine could do a minerals deal without a security guarantee, a Whitehall insider said, "That's the million-dollar question." Europe rallied round Mr. Zelensky by publicly backing him on X, but the rift with the U.S. deepened last night as one of Ms. Trump's key allies tore into European leaders. Senator Lindsey Graham, instrumental in brokering the Ukraine minerals deal, wrote on X, "To the hand-wringing Europeans who felt offended by President Trump rejecting being lectured by President Zelensky, be my guest to defend Ukraine from Putin. It is long past time for the Europeans to show they are capable of defending their own continent. They've allowed their militaries to be hollowed out, and when Europe speaks, no bad guy listens. I say this with great sadness. The last group of people that I would count on to defend freedom are the Europeans." NATO chief Mark Rutte told Mrs. Zelensky in a call on Friday night, "You have to find a way, dear Volodymyr, to restore your relationship with Donald Trump and the American administration." The furious row has sparked the biggest crisis in NATO's 75-year history. Politicians have warned. Ukrainian MP Kira Rudik told The Sun on Sunday, "America has been clear it's a European responsibility to defend ourselves, and that's what we have to do. For that, we have to act united. Comprehensive security for Europe is the best way to get security guarantees for Ukraine. We need to be strong because Russia only understands words of strength.